So I want to talk about welcoming your sensitivity, whether you have high sensitivity or not. You want to welcome your sensitivity. Most of the people actually who come to inner bonding are very sensitive people. And there's actually a test online. Dr. Elaine Aron has done the research on this and has discovered that about 30, I think she said 30% of the population um, are highly sensitive. Can't remember the percentage right now, but it's not like most of the population. And you can go online and put in highly sensitive person, and there's a test that'll take you only about 10 minutes to take that will let you know whether or not you are a highly sensitive person. And if you are, it means that your brain is different than the rest of the people, that your brain is more sensitive. You're going to be more reactive to things. Things are going to affect you more. And those of you who are very sensitive people probably had some problems with that as you were growing up. I certainly did, because I could feel things that other people weren't feeling. I could sense things that other people weren't sensing. I knew about things that other people didn't know about. And I was reactive to things that other people weren't reactive to. When you don't have the high sensitivity, oh, now I remember, it's about 50, it's only about 15 to 20% of the population. It's not a lot of people in the population. So when you're a highly sensitive kid, you feel like there's something wrong with you. You feel kind of out of it. Like, how come the same situation is rolling off this person's back? How come they're not affected by it the way I am? And it's confusing, especially if your parents are not sensitive. My parents were the opposite of highly sensitive. They were just completely clueless. And so it was really confusing to me. Like, it was so confusing that I could feel their feelings, but they couldn't feel mine. And I was always trying to be there for them, but they had no idea how to be there for me. And with my friends, looking back, I realized I was the only highly sensitive person in my close group of friends. That's very confusing, very, very confusing to a child, because of course I thought there was something wrong with me. How come everybody else just kind of happy-go-lucky, goes along with things, doesn't seem to be so affected by things? And it wasn't until I read Elaine Aron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person, and then I read The Highly Sensitive Child, that I really understood the impact that that had on me. So I really encourage you to go online. If you haven't taken that test, go online and take the Highly Sensitive Person Test, HSP, and see where you are with this. It'll give you a lot of information, but it's so important for you to be recognizing if you are a sensitive person, a highly sensitive person, to recognize that this is a gift. This is not a liability, even though it may have been really hard as a kid growing up with it, even though it may be hard now, because if you are highly sensitive, you're still reacting to things in ways that are very different than 15 to 20% of the population. And that does make it challenging, but it is a gift. I wouldn't be doing the work that I do right now if I weren't a very highly sensitive person. And so I feel very blessed with this gift. And if you find yourself being a highly sensitive person, I do hope that you learn to welcome this, learn about it, learn about what a great gift it is. Don't think that there's something wrong with you because of being a highly sensitive person. You know, I remember when I was growing up, like, one of the things that some highly sensitive people feel is that, you know, those tags on the back of your shirt, well, most people don't even notice them, but if you're highly sensitive, they're going to drive you crazy. And I remember saying, oh, I couldn't stand them. I always cut them off because I can't stand them. They're just so irritating on my skin. And in fact, I used to put my shirt on inside out and backwards so that I wouldn't have, when I was real little, so that I wouldn't have the tag there. And then my grandmother would get mad at me because I put my shirt on wrong. What was wrong with me that I put my shirt on wrong? And so, it's that kind of thing where you're reacting to something that other people are not reacting to. And then, of course, there's the tendency to think, what's wrong with me that I'm reacting this way? I would get hurt by things that other people wouldn't get hurt by or didn't even notice. And this happens a lot in families where there'll be one kid who's highly sensitive and the others are not. I didn't have siblings, so I didn't have that comparison. But lots of times when I'm working with somebody, and like I said, a lot of my clients that come to me are very highly sensitive, and they'll say, when I talk to my siblings about what happened in the family, they don't remember it that way at all. And that's because they were not highly sensitive. They were impacted totally differently than you were. And very often, the highly sensitive, if there's one, like if you're the only highly sensitive person in your family, you become the scapegoat, because often highly sensitive people are they're vulnerable because we're reactive to things, but we're also usually very caring and empathic. And people who are not highly sensitive can use that and make you responsible for them and then blame you for not doing things the way that they expect you to do them as a highly sensitive and empathic person. So, like I said, most highly sensitive people are empathic. Not all empaths are highly sensitive. They're two different things, but usually if you're highly sensitive, you're also a very empathic person. And that does set you up to be a scapegoat in your family. I was certainly a scapegoat in my family, and I still am. I don't deal with it the same way, but it's like my parents being atheists and not being highly sensitive and being clueless were just, they thought I was nuts, basically, by creating inner bonding and having a spiritual connection and being guided by spirit. They just thought I was nuts. And that's hard, especially when you're a child and you're tuning into things that they think don't exist. It's hard on a child. So if you are a highly sensitive person, really encourage you to find out more about that. Read Elaine Aron's books, take the test, start to embrace that part of you. It'll serve you very, very well. Serves you creatively, serves you in relationships. It can serve you in work once you understand it and once you learn to truly value it. This week's episode is brought to you by the Inner Bonding Masterclass. When you join this membership, you'll be part of a compassionate and supportive community who understands what you're going through and who will help you throughout your healing journey. The Inner Bonding membership is created to provide laser coaching for you and others in the community who may be facing the same struggles, so that you can practice the inner bonding process more effectively and apply it to your life. You also get to vote on the topic that we will focus on in our bi-monthly masterclass. This way, you and the community will always learn about and get guidance on the topic you're requesting most. Go to innerbonding.com/members to join us. You can use the code BENEFIT to get a 10% discount on your registration at checkout. Again, go to innerbonding.com/members.